Hey YouTube! Oh god, am I hungover from last night? So doing a live stream. It was awful hot. I was sweating to death. I had a beer as well. So this, I'm looking at the guitar GDI 21 Behringer V-tone. This was actually one of the first pedals I ever had. What I used it for was I got an ADAT recording thing, and I was using it basically, which meant I could just put that straight into like the desk, and it made it sound all right, as opposed to when you just stick a guitar straight into a mixing desk, it sounds shit. So it's kind of like I was using it as a sort of model-y to make it sound like an amp. Eventually, I ended up to be honest, just miking up, sticking a room mic, kind of like that, well, the one you can't see, kind of in it. But the reason I got rid of it was this was before I had like a power adapter thing, so I was running it on batteries, and like all pedals, if you don't unplug the output jack when you're not using it, the battery runs down. So I just kept doing that. I kept going to bed and forgetting to unplug it, and wake up in the morning and it was done, and it was like, no, sod that. So that's why, maybe one of the reasons I'm not really that mad into pedals. I do actually have a few of these kicking about. Well, there goes my MIDI controller. Yeah, I borrowed these off my pal. The acoustic one as well, which I will do a video of, and also the bass one, which I'll also do a video of. BDI 21, or they all seem to be something 21. I wonder what the 21 signifies. Being sensible, I could have looked that up, but I didn't. So I've been using the Blazer for all these pedal videos. So I'm not using it today. I'm using the Roadstar just because it's got nicer strings on it. So playing through the Orange TH30. Glad it says so in the front. I can never remember. I keep thinking it's a TX30. Position 4. Neck position. And no other effects on. So let's see what this thing does. I've not heard one of these in about 10-15 years, something like that. So what we have here, if I can stand in such a way so you can actually see it, it doesn't look very big on that screen. It is. So drive, treble, bass, level. This is amp, California, Brit or Tweed. So I'm thinking California's like I don't know, is that like a Mesa Boogie maybe, sort of thing? Brit would be like a Marshall or a Vox or something, and Tweed would be like a sort of Fendery one, I think. Hot, high gain and clean. But the modelling mics, off centre, centre, classic, ground lift, on or off. Well, the ground lift will be for when you're using it as a DI box. So a useful thing, I think. It's one of those things. My pal has had one of the bass ones on his board, and it's one of those things that if you've got that, you can use it as a sort of an EQ sort of drive pedal, but also because it's a DI, my amp's blown up, suddenly it's just a case of right, bonk, straight into the back of that, straight into the PA. You can continue the set and then worry about why your amp blew up later on. A good standby, which would probably work for the guitar as well, actually. Maybe an idea. If you're running an amp that you're not 100% sure it's not going to blow up, having this would give you a DI thing, which means you could just stick it, go straight into the desk and finish the set, sort of thing. So if I just turn it on, it's on hot, so if I put it to clean, does it do anything? Okay, so you need to turn the level down a lot. That says clean. Let's turn the drive down. Bridge humbucker. It says clean. I don't think that sounds clean. I'll try. That's Brit. I'll try Tweed. All right. Okay. Maybe that's makes things a bit a lot different. Get the gain right. I need to go back onto Elixir strings. The strings keep dying on me. These are roto sounds, but they're kind of feeling a bit on the crunchy side. I've only had this, well, I have had the guitar for probably a month now, so Just electors last longer. They're just damn expensive to buy. Go for high gain. See, I'm actually overloading the microphone there, so I might try and turn down a little bit. Still overloading the mic. Maybe turn the mic down. Okay, that's not very loud, but still overloading the mic. Hold on, can I turn it down here? Can I just turn that down a little bit? Make it not peak as much. Seems to be a bit more like it. Look at that. Hot. Obviously we've got a drive. So that's the TWED model. On the three things, I don't know what difference the mic placement makes. Off center. Oh, okay. And then no, it was center. This is off center. I'm doing that because Jimmy Page was into mic placement. That just goes to show you what difference it does make. Assuming that that's a relatively accurate, to what it's like when you put whatever classic is center and off center. Go back to clean, back to classic, and try the Brit one. That's me get the drive up at full though, so obviously it doesn't have to be. High gain. Hot. Try to gain it full. It does seem to be quite noisy, but I think, to be honest, that's probably the power supply I'm using. It's a really crappy looking one. I don't think it would probably make that noise if you're using a proper, like a battery or a proper power supply. Mind you, it's very high gain, so it's probably quite natural, quite normal. Again, as I said, this is actually it's a DI box as well, so it's a DI box with some backup things. I'm not really, what I should really have done is plug this straight into the computer, but I don't know how to do that. Because that's kind of what it's for. What I'm kind of using it as a distortion pedal, which it does do, but that's not really what it is. What it is it's a DI thing, so you can plug it into like your computer or and maybe even into your hi-fi. I don't know if people don't do it anymore, but back when I was learning to play guitar, people had hi-fi systems, like stereos, and quite often the mic input would be on the front and be like, I can just plug my guitar straight in there and it sounded pants. This would make it so you could play it to do with like a guitar amp, shapes your sound a lot, like a PA, and to a certain extent a bass amp, and a hi-fi stereo basically takes whatever signal it is and just makes it louder. Whereas a guitar amp does an awful lot more. It shapes it and makes it distort and cuts out the bottom and cuts out the top and does all this thing. That's why guitar amps tend to sound very different to each other, because they're actually doing something, whereas bass amps less so, and PAs even less so. Basically a PA, just all you want to do is just make whatever it is you're putting in louder. That's its job. It's just an amplifier, whereas a guitar amp's not just an amplifier, it's actually a sound creator. It EQs it, no matter how you do it, it colours the sound and makes it sound good. Go to the California one, which I said might be... Is Fender not California? Again. I think it's one of those things that, see, when you get like your modelling stuff, they've got to call it something. So basically what you've got is 3 different types of amp sound, 3 different types of model of amp sound, and then 3 different places of putting the mic. So you've got 3 times 3 times 3, 9, 81 variations on your sound, and you just choose the one you like, depending on what it is. I don't know how accurate any modelling really is. Kind of gets you in the ballpark of what you're after. But invaluable if you've got like an old school 8-track or an old school 4-track and you want to just be able to plug your guitar in, lay something down quickly. I mean, I used it quite a lot. And then again, the reason it's got all those sounds is because if you've just put down a rhythm track of guitar using that, it's like, do the leads, you don't want the same sound, because then the two of them will sort of, they won't be very distinct from each other, so you just use another sound just to get something that's a bit different, or use a different pickup. I'm not running through all of them. Gain up at full, obviously. What I do want to try is I've got the currently I'm using the valve combo. If I turn on my wee solid state amp, turn that off, hit that one there. I wonder if it sounds different through that amp, because the tube amps tend to colour things an awful lot. Already that kind of sounds, because it's more cleaner and not as tubey ampy soundy. I think that pedal actually works better with this already. It's kind of sounding more, that's more like, as I was saying earlier on, you know, your hi-fi or your bass amp or your P8. It's a bit cleaner. Standing in front of the drum. Make sure I'm not making that up. That does actually sound, I think, better than the tubey amp. Oh, it does definitely. The main disadvantage with that is I'm standing between the mic and the cabinet, so I can't actually be on the screen when you can hear it. But I seems to like that a bit better. Maybe just a bit closer to what it's meant to do. I had to press the ground lift. That's to do with using it on stage. So, fun. I don't know if I was due. I don't know if I would really have any use for it, to be honest. If it was mine, it's like when I had one before. It does seem to be noisy, but as I said, I think that's pretty much my power supply shite. I do have a proper power supply on the floor down there, but I can't be bothered extending it, unplugging everything, so I'm just using a crappy one. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely got its place. I don't know if you're thinking, what did I say, 80, did I say 81 different sounds it does? I'm not sure all 81 are going to be your favourite sound, but there's definitely some in there, and you can move it about. And if you're trying to using that just to basically transfer it onto tape, or whatever it is, tape, how old am I? Good fun. The owner said it was one of the ugliest pedals, but it was the acoustic one he figured was the very ugliest. Because it's kind of like sort of brown. It's like, yeah, have a jobby brown pedal. Jobby brown and yellow. I will have a go with that. This is basically got different knobs on it, and the bass one, which I've not even looked at these yet. Blend presence. Yeah, my pal said he pure loves that. It's a great thing to have. So I'll maybe have a wee look at that one later, but maybe not today. I'm so hungover, pure ridiculous. Is that folk on my live streams fault egging me on? It was after midnight. I gave up, and it was really hot, and it was like, so I kind of had a beer, so I had a bottle of Bucky and a beer, and that's more than a bottle of Bucky. Normally a bottle of Bucky is my whole life. It's been like pure, yep. Bottle of Bucky, one of the best things about Bucky is you've just got a bottle. If you've had a bottle that's you drunk enough, you can kind of gauge how drunk you should be just looking at how far through the bottle is, because I always drink the same thing. And then, so normally it used to be my carry. It used to be a bottle of Bucky and a beer or a can of cider. The bottle of Bucky would get me from 8 o'clock when we started till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And then if you're sitting up till 2 in the morning jamming and stuff, I would need to have something to drink, so I would have a can of lager over the following hour or whatever. Last night I had the can of lager and was finished it by, I think I finished drinking about 11, so it was like pretty intense, heavy duty drinking. I've got no sound because I've turned off both the amps. This one here, it was on. It does sound, certainly in the case of this amp here, that's better, does a better job of the distortion than the actual distortion channels on this amp. Probably just a technology thing. This thing must be 15 years old, or the design. I don't know how old the actual pedal is. It could be 6 months old, but and this is like from the late 80s. So I think just the technology idea of sound sculpting in the digital realm has come along a good time. I'm totally loving the Roadstar. I mean, these will not be cheap for very much longer, I don't think, if you get the chance of one. They're fantastic. This one's super. I've got the more expensive model there, the 530, which is a much nicer guitar, much better than everybody, but there's something about the sort of cheaper one which makes me go, yeah. It's not cheaper, it's just less fancy. It doesn't have any extra stuff in there, your fancy top and all that. It doesn't have any of that stuff. Binding, yeah, tone plastic, doesn't have any of that. It's just fancy paint. It's just got zip, apart from a painted headstock, which does it for me. Yeah, so rock on. I'll probably do another couple of these videos, probably not today because I'm too hungover. On the acoustic one, I need to dig out an acoustic. I might dig out my I do have acoustics that have piezos in them, but it's an acoustic. So if I'm in this room and I'm playing a dreadnought, the guitar's flipping loud anyway. So plugging it into an amp's gonna be, I'm just gonna have to turn it up even louder, which is not the best way of doing it. So I might actually look at the double neck telly I made out of a door, because it's got like a a non-acoustic acoustic. It is acoustic strings, acoustic piezo, but the actual body of the guitar is solid, so it's not that loud. So you could probably actually hear what the pedal's doing with that. And the bass, I'll just find some excuse to use one of my basses to do that. That'll be fun. Rock on. Catch you later. Oh, I'm going to put the volume back up to full, so the next time I turn on this, it's not really quiet. Rock on.